So, the absolute strangest thing just happened. I was beginning the card portion of today's reading, June 28th, Friday, June 28th, into and through the weekend, because I'd already done all the rest. The camera shut itself off, and it's a new camera, shut itself off, restarted, and did not have record of the file at all. I had file from the day before and file from the day before that, which I went ahead and deleted because I don't need those, but nothing from today. Isn't that insane? So I'm going to have to do that portion over. I won't do the dice over because I still have them the way that they landed when I was done. And that is stay in bed, email, and spend money. Both of which, email and spend money, can be done from bed. So no need to do those over. I'll quickly try to get through what went on this day a second time. Also, I had mentioned, of course, that the moon is yet again in Taurus, and repeated that means endings and things for us Geminis, and for others of you, you can find out in what house or what house Taurus rules for you, for your sun sign. All right, beginning with the year 1389, the Ottomans defeat the Serbian army in the bloody Battle of Kosovo, opening the way for the Ottoman conquest of southeastern Europe. 1519, King Carlos I is elected Holy Roman Catholic Emperor Charles V. 1838, 9/11 or 11 coronation of Queen Victoria in Westminster Abbey, London. 1914, Franz Ferdinand, Archduke of Austria, and his wife Sophie are assassinated in Sarajevo by a young Serb nationalist, Gavrilo Princip. 1919 or 11, the Treaty of Versailles, ending World War I and establishing the League of Nations, is signed in France. Did you know the saxophone is patented by Antoine Joseph Sax, also known as Adolphe, on June 28th in 1846. Famous birthdays: Henry VIII, John Wesley, who I had correctly guessed was the founder of the Methodist Church. Mel Brooks, who I mentioned made one of my most favorite movies, and I've been waiting for part 2 since I was a kid, because it was called History of the World Part 1, and the shit was fucking hilarious. And I just remember like, well, when is part 2 gonna come out? But I think even the title was satire. It took me until I was older to say, the title and everything must have been a joke. That's why it was called Part 1. There is no Part 2. There's never going to be a Part 2, and there never was. Kathy Bates, who was awesome. John Elway, and Elon Musk, who was also awesome. Would you believe the tomato is proven to be non-poisonous by Colonel Robert Gibbon by eating a tomato on the steps of the courthouse in Salem, New Jersey on this day, June 28th in 1820. Famous weddings, 1919 or 11. The 33rd, we talked about how important 33 is a million times. The 33rd U.S. President Harry Truman, who was 35, wed his wife Elizabeth, who was 34 in Independence. We got the 33, 34, 35. 1930, which is 13 of 4, 11, 11. Film director David Lean, who was 22, master number 22, which is also 13 of 4, 11, 11, wed his first cousin, Isabel Lean, and that's gross. 1934, novelist Kenneth Patchen, who was also master number 22, 13 of 4, 11, 11, wed Miriam Patchen in nearby Sharon, Pennsylvania. Famous divorces: 2010, Academy Award-winning actress Sandra Bullock, 45, divorces Monster Garage host Jesse James, 40, due to conflict of personalities after nearly 5 years of marriage. And 2012, Spy Kids actress Alexa Vega, 23, divorces film producer Sean Koval, 36, due to irreconcilable differences after less than 2 years of marriage. Famous deaths: James Madison and Franz Ferdinand, which we read about earlier in the history. Franz Ferdinand, again, was the Archduke of Austria. He was assassinated in Sarajevo by a Serbian terrorist group named the Black Hand, helping to trigger the start of World War I. He was born on December 18th in 1863, 9-9. Well, actually, it's 12 or 3, 999, because the 18th is also a 9, in Graz, Austria, and was a Sagittarius. He died on June 28th in 1914 at the age of 50 of assassination. James Madison was the fourth, another 13 of 4, 11, U.S. president, or master number 22. He was a Democratic Republican, whatever the hell that was, and had previously been United States Secretary of the State. His presidential term went from March 4th in 1809, which is another 9-9, through March 4th in 1817. He was preceded by Thomas Jefferson, Thomas means twin, and succeeded by James Monroe. Previously serving as Secretary of State under Thomas Jefferson, he succeeded his boss as president in 1809. That's why he's famous, which again is another 9-9. And he's known commonly as the father of the Constitution for playing a crucial role in the drafting of the U.S. Constitution and being the author of the U.S. Bill of Rights. Madison was one of the leaders of the movement to ratify the Constitution, and his work with John Jay and Alexander Hamilton produced the Federalist Papers, which stands as one of the most significant works in support of the Constitution ever. As Secretary of the State, he presided over the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States. A popular president with historians, his term saw growing prosperity for several years. The War of 1812 occurred during his presidency and was a stalemate. It helped him to change his opinion on the national bank and a strong central government, which he came to support. He was born on March 16th in 1751 in Port Conway, Virginia, USA, and was a Pisces. He died on June 28th in 1836, another 9-9 for him, at the age of 85, which is another 13 of 4, 11, by the way. Going back up to the birthdays, Elon Musk, who today is 47, the day on which I'm doing this, which is the day before. I'm doing it on the 27th. This is the reading for the 28th. He is 47 years old, but he'll be 48 tomorrow because he was born the same year as me. That's how I know. He is American, Canadian, and South African, an engineer, inventor, investor. All of these focused on the technology, transport, and space industries. He's the founder of SpaceX, the co-founder of Zip2, PayPal, and Tesla Motors, and is chairman of Solar City. He was born on June 28th in 1971 in Pretoria, Transvaal, South Africa, and again is 47 years old, but will be 48, a pig on the Chinese zodiac like myself, and a Cancer. John Elway was an NFL quarterback, American. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. He led the Denver Broncos to 5 Super Bowl appearances and 2 victories, known for performing his best in the clutch, thanks in large part to the 1987 AFC Championship game against the Cleveland Browns, where he helped to engineer a 98-yard game-tying touchdown drive, which would become known as the Drive. Elway began his career as the first pick draft for the Baltimore Colts, but controversially refused to play for them, saying he'd rather play baseball. He was eventually traded to the Denver Broncos. In 2011, or 11, another 13 of 4, or master number 22, he was appointed general manager of the Denver Broncos. Born on June 28th in 1960 in Port Angeles, Washington, USA, he is 58 years old, another 13 of 4, 11, and a rat on the Chinese zodiac and a Cancer. Kathy Bates is an actress, American, famous for Misery in 1991, Primary Colors in 1998, and About Schmidt in 2002. They act like she didn't do anything since 2002, but she should also be famous for American Horror Story. And what about Fried Green Tomatoes? I mean, geez. Anyway, she was born on June 28th in 1948 in Memphis, Tennessee, USA, and is 70 years old, a rat on the Chinese zodiac and a Cancer. Mel Brooks is 92 years old. He's an actor and director, American, best known as the creator of broad film farces and comedic parodies. He began his career as a stand-up comic and a writer for the early TV variety show, Your Show of Shows. In middle age, he became one of the most successful film directors of the 1970s, and he's on the short list of entertainers who've won the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. I think those people are called, that short list of people is referred to as EGOTs, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, he was born on June 28th in 1926 in Brooklyn, New York, USA, and is 92 years old, a tiger on the Chinese zodiac and a Cancer. John Wesley was, as I stated, an evangelist, British, co-founder of the Methodist movement, along with his brother, although it doesn't mention that. He was born on June 28th in 1703 in Epworth, Lincolnshire, England, and was a Cancer. He died on March 2nd in 1791 at the age of 87. And lastly, Henry VIII, who was just simply disgusting. There's this show on HBO with, I think it's called The Young Princess. I don't remember. The Princess of England? I don't remember. Anyway. But it's centered around the princess, Catherine. And, has a young Henry, which I guess will later come to be known as Henry VIII. And, as a kid or a young man, they have him seeming pretty reasonable and whatever. But history, at least the way I interpret it, tells of him being pretty disgusting. In any case, he was English, the second Tudor monarch after his father, Henry VII. And during his 40-year reign, he led England through a series of intense changes, most notably the English Reformation, England's separation from the Roman Catholic Church. The Reformation began when Henry requested from the Pope an annulment from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. That's who the show is about, Princess Catherine. This was refused, as Catherine was the aunt of the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, the most popular man in Europe, and most powerful, rather, man in Europe. So he probably wasn't so popular, actually. If he was the most powerful, people usually tend to hate those people. In any case, he was spurred by his infatuation with Anne Boleyn. Henry then broke with the Catholic Church by marrying his mistress, who would later give birth to Elizabeth I. Pope Clement VII excommunicated Henry. Henry's marriage did not prosper. Anne's miscarriages and unpopularity at court led him to accuse her of adultery and to have her beheaded. A third wife, Jane Seymour, did present him with a son, the future Edward VI, before dying of childbirth complications later. And his fourth wife, Anne of Cleves, barely lasted even a few months before an annulment. History repeated itself when Henry accused his fifth wife, Catherine Howard, of adultery. This time, there was some truth to it before having her beheaded. His last wife, Catherine Parr, survived Henry by acting as a nurse to an increasingly unwell king. Outside his notorious marriages, Henry is remembered as the father of the Royal Navy, increasing the number of the Navy, or increasing the Navy from 5 to 50 ships. As part of his split from the Catholic Church, Henry dissolved English monasteries, with their land and wealth taken by the crown, and changing the makeup of English society forever. He was born on June 28th in 1491 in London, England, and was a Cancer. He died on January 28th in 1547. He was the last. So let's try this again. So I had started, we're not that deep into it. I had started with the Princess of Spring, energetic, outgoing, optimistic, and creative. Creative opportunities that you feel passionate about are fluttering your way. Personal growth and broadening horizons will spark fresh and original ideas. The Princess of Spring is the Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, or someone like into those traits or attributes. I had mentioned that while shuffling ahead of the reading, I had come across the Seven of Winter, or Swords, and felt then, before seeing the Princess of Spring, that it was about risk more so, at least in that moment, more so than, being robbed of opportunity. It was about risking which I guess can be tied, because you can rob yourself of opportunity if you're unwilling to take a risk sometimes. I just felt like a really, the energy of risk, and were to go for something, like throw caution to the wind and go for it. And then somehow I had come to be made aware that the Two of Spring was right behind it. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors, or to expand the number of people who are helping you. So that happened. And Now I have it opposite the Six of Autumn, which for me is about unconditional love more so than anything else, and exchange of energy. And actually, before I had seen this, before I had become aware of that, and before I had even become aware of this, which may be why the camera shut itself off, I had started talking about myself and Roy. I said, this reminded me of something. The Princess of Spring reminded me of something. I don't remember how it reminded me of this story, but it did. So Tuesday, my daughter graduated, right? And I had a meeting to go to that day, and it was a meeting that I couldn't avoid. So we all went to lunch after her graduation. Her dad was here. You know, he came up from South Carolina. His mom came with us. I had been reminded we forgot to ask their other sister. That's another story. My kids came, my niece, my parents. You know, just we had a whole big table for 11, right? And then after that, I had gotten a hotel room for my daughter. You know, if she wanted her friends and or siblings or whatever, that was up to her to go, maybe swim, have some fun, because I had to go to this meeting and I wasn't gonna be able to do anything else with her, you know. So I drove to the hotel. We took 2 cars, so I drove one, her dad drove one. So that I could get them all checked in, make sure there were no problems. You're like, well, you know, where's the person that made the reservation? You know how these things can pop up. I'm not saying that it definitely would have, but I just didn't want anything to pop up and like at all mess up her day. And so I drove out there before going to my meeting. I told the meeting people I would be late. I would be there in time for the business session, but I'd probably miss the entire public session, which is exactly what happened. But in any case, I drove to the hotel and drove back. So after my meeting and everything, which I didn't get out of until like 10 o'clock, by the time I walked home from the west side, the meeting was like in Tribeca, northern Tribeca, no less. And I live on the east side in the financial district by the seaport. By the time I walked home and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't back in the car and on my way to the hotel myself until like 11 o'clock, you know, after all the fun was over. So, I don't know what prompted this thought, but I had thought about, now that she has graduated, which does go with the Six of Autumn, because the Six of Autumn can be about stuff like, you know, opportunities to go to school and everything, college and stuff like that, to train and learn something new, and, you know, scholarship money and loans and debt being paid and all that kind of stuff comes with the Six of Autumn. And for me, it's about unconditional love, an exchange of unconditional love, the give and take that's involved there. I'd said, so now I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why the camera shut off. In another way, I was thinking it shut off because I was just because I was talking about us, so like, you know, the demons got jealous and stuff. But maybe I was meant to start the story with these cards in my hand and to make this other distinction. I don't know. Anyway, I don't remember what sparked the thought, but I was thinking, oh, okay, now that she's graduated, maybe things would go more smoother with me and him. Because he doesn't even have any kids. So, you know, here I was with this child that I guess it's beneficial, or at least to me, in my mind, that she was older, but it didn't really matter. We still had struggles. Not that he dislikes her or anything. As a matter of fact, he always asked me about her. You know, even when we'd been in separation, one of the first things he's be like is, "How's your daughter?" Which was always interesting to me. Like maybe they had their own soul connection. You know, because not even about my other kids. Which I mean, they're older anyway. They're more grown. Not that he needed to ask about any of them, but it was always specifically, how's AJ? Or how's your daughter? So in any case, maybe things will go more smoother with us now that she's graduated from high school. And in that moment, as I'm having that thought, all of a sudden I changed the dial on the radio. I don't remember to what station, but right to his ringtone, basically, which is Hold Ya by Egyptian, a song that's at least 10 years old and does not come on the radio often. So I was just like, oh, wow. And I was sharing this sync with you guys. Oh, wow, that came on. And then right after that song, went off, this song called Exchange by Bryson Tiller comes on. And exchange is what this card means to me, again, of unconditional love. And exchange is actually something that I had said to him once, and I don't remember if we were in separation or if things were just like weird between us. We'd probably been in separation and, had just started like talking again. And I think it was his birthday. And I said to him, like the song, that we could exchange some of him for me or vice versa. And he says, really? I said, yeah. And he was like so excited, and we went out and we had a really nice time or whatever. And I don't remember why, again, I was moved to tell you about that. But all that happened before the camera went off, and led me to this moment where I'm starting all over again. And now again, I'm seeing these cards that do tie into it. So, opportunity, Two of Spring. Maybe somebody will have a similar experience, and have an opportunity to exchange themselves with another or for another. And it might be a situation that they view as a risk. Like, this does not make much sense. This is taking a huge chance. And I would say you should take the chance. And if it happens to me again, I will take the chance too. But here's the Five of Summer, where we're like looking forward to disappointment and doubt because we're being pessimistic and not expecting anything good to happen to us, not expecting our dreams to come true. Right? It says now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen, even if you expect, you typically feel like nothing good ever happens to you. So how can it happen? Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Eight of Summer is sticking up too. Moving on from some sort of difficulty, problems. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living. So it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. And there's tons of sirens today. I don't know, maybe they're healing something. Maybe they're healing something with the King of Autumn specifically. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Those of you dealing with a male or masculine earth sign, maybe. Healing in that area, or healing in your finances. Exchange, somebody exchanging money with you or opportunity with you. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible. And money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. All right. And that is again opposite the Six of Autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, or to receive a grant or a scholarship. In return for heaven's blessings, be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. Six of Autumn and the Eight of Autumn. This is like reaping what you've sown. It's the perfect time to learn all you can by returning to school. Somebody may be actually taking the opportunity to learn something new, to go to school or to pick up a vocation, to try a new career opportunity, something like that. Again, it's a risk. You're probably like, oh, I don't know how to do that job, but I'd like to take a risk. And if anything like that comes up, do your best work, and the law of attraction will bring you prosperity and career advancement. Six of Autumn. And the Nine of Autumn. Isn't it funny how the cards are coming out today? First, all those cups, and now all these pentacles. Your success has brought you financial security and the reward of much-deserved time off to enjoy your own company. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or self-employment opportunity, and if you do, it will be very successful. I think a relationship would be very successful too, or deciding to spend some time by yourself would also be very successful. was the Six of Autumn again. And that brings us to the Two of Autumn. You may be under stress because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. It could be a lot of things, again, opportunities coming your way to juggle and stuff. It's important to balance your work and your personal life and to bring a spirit of fun to all you do. If you've been invested in just working in something, an opportunity for fun, a love does pop up too, like I was describing a moment ago. Definitely, again, take the risk and go for it because you need both in your life. Crowning the masculine, and it's the dreamer, which is again all about risk, right? It's the Fool in the traditional tarot. Major Arcana card 0. You're starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. So that's what this day is about. Leap of faith. Surrounding the masculine. Wow. The Four of Spring or Wands. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Four of Wands or Spring is about joy. It's about happiness, whatever brings you happiness. Having been successful at something that you set out to do, that gives you that kind of warm feeling. Home remodeling, the purchase of a home, moving in with somebody, commitment, marriage even, all those things, all represented by the Four of Wands. Masculine subconscious, the Seven of Winter. This is the card I was talking about, and taking a risk. And look, the bird has a key in his mouth. Again, like moving into each other, or the key to success, the key to the universe, maybe. Then we just talk about it being Elon Musk's birthday, the founder of Tesla Motors, Tesla 369, the key to the universe. I think that's it. Or maybe, again, the key to a new house, the key to happiness, all those things possible. Crowning the feminine. I hope ours is as good. The Prince of Winter, decisive, focused, driven, and impulsive. Get ready for progress to speed up. This situation requires you to choose logic and intellect over emotion and to make your decisions quickly. The Prince of Winter is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And surrounding the feminine is Major Arcana card 14, Balance or Temperance, which represents the sign of Sagittarius. By merging varying points of view, you can generate an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. So again, it's about coming together to fix something, to work something out, to maybe to mend fences or something. Some feminine subconscious, the Nine of Spring. You've worked hard, and what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but if they do, you'll get through them just as you have in the past. Crowning the Princess of Winter. Maybe there's something going on with two air signs, air on air. Maybe specifically masculine and feminine, or male and female. The Princess of Winter, like the Prince, is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Logical, truthful, curious, undiplomatic. This is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. This can be maybe the two of them falling out too. And again, maybe two air signs. And it's like you get the house, he gets the house, or he's taking the house. Maybe she got the house, and that's what he's focused on. And so he's starting a new adventure by himself, without the house, without her. That is possible too. And that may be what the annoying challenge was, like a rift between them and difficulty between them. But we move on. He's running this way, getting the hell out of Dodge, as they say. The eagle also flying this way, away from him, while his dog goes that way, the opposite direction. Isn't that interesting? You see that? The otter's just looking up into the sky. They're happy. All right, at the root, foundation, the Ace of Spring, so new opportunity on both sides for both. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action, just like this says, and to passionately pursue every possibility. And at the heart of the matter, the 10 of Autumn. It doesn't get much better than this, honestly. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. The 10 of Autumn, especially sitting next to the 4 of Spring or Wands, could definitely be, again, about moving in with somebody, entering some sort of commitment, deepening commitment, starting a life by yourself. Remember I said even if you're single with the 9 of Autumn, the 9 of Pentacles, that still feels awesome to me, feels very successful. Again, crossing the Ace of Spring, so we can't go wrong with that. That cannot be a negative thing. That is a good thing. Not only is it a new opportunity, but it's a new opportunity about something or with something about which you are extremely passionate, or someone about whom you're extremely passionate, or maybe a group of someones, like family members, about whom you're extremely passionate. So things are working out. And I think masculine, you need to go for it, whatever that means for you. And feminine, you need to go for it, despite any obstacles that you foresee or expect or that actually do pop up. You're capable of conquering them. And the obstacle may just be time management, balance. You can definitely conquer that. Figure out a way to do, work and play. Further advice for the masculine, Major Arcana card 11, Strength. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power. Use it to, be kind to somebody, to make up with somebody, to shake on it and fix something. Major Arcana card 11, Strength is also a 2, of course, which can be about partnership. Not unlike our overall energy of the 2 of Autumn. And for the feminine here, the 8 of Summer. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. I told you she was going this way. The kangaroos are going this way too. The zebra is going this way, and so is the gazelle. All these animals facing this way, getting away from this guy. All of them. The dog looking straight ahead toward the future, right? A fruitful future, feeling safer, feeling more secure, feeling more stable now that something is over. And it's over and it's given way to this new opportunity. Also, with the tigers looking this way is ahead for the feminine. We're not going back. Whatever that means for you. So you feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the daily reading. I will be back over the weekend with the weeklies. Namaste.